Hello, my friends. Namaste. Hare Krishna. Some of my clients have asked me to say some things about the current coronavirus from an astrological perspective. So I've chosen to do that today. There's been various predictions and various kinds of research done. So I'd like to begin with Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu, as many of you know, are shadow planets. So they bring up the shadow. They bring up the parts of ourselves that we repress, that we fail to express, negatives, darkness, problematic states of mind, behavior, and they generally expose it to the light of day, if you will. This is also if they are karmic planets, which they are. All planets are karmic, but in the negative sense, they can bring negative karma, difficult karma. So in order for us to clear karma and to learn lessons, to learn our collective lesson in this regard. Rahu has entered the constellation of Ardra on February 12th, and Ketu, opposite Rahu, has entered the constellation of Mula on February 12th. Ketu would be the planet that represents epidemics and diseases and natural disasters where there are mass deaths. Rahu can also do that, but Ketu more in the epidemic side of things. Rahu will exit the constellation of Ardra on April 22nd of this month. And maybe, perhaps, things will settle down after that. I can't say for sure. Ketu will not exit the constellation of Mula until September 20th of this year. September 20th. This is probably the greatest effect. Ketu would be have the utmost influence over what we're experiencing, I would think, but I'm not going to minimize Rahu. Both Rahu and Ketu will exit their current signs of Gemini and Sagittarius respectively on September 20th of this year, and then we'll go into a new 18-year cycle. Rahu and Ketu transit through a given sign for 18 months at a time, a year and a half. So from March of last year, 2019, till September of this year, 2020. If you look at an expanse of this 18-year cycle, so 18 years and you go back, you go back 18 years at a time. In 2001, we had 9/11. Now that was primarily in the U.S., primarily affected that area, but living in the U.S. at that time, as I was, it shut down the entire country. And a lot of people, everything stopped, airplanes stopped, economy stopped. I mean, it wasn't good. 18 years prior to that, in 1982, we had the AIDS epidemic. I was living in Los Angeles at that time, as I had done for many years, and I had a lot of clients coming to me, gay men in particular, who were suffering from the AIDS virus or infection. Then in 1963, we had the assassination of JFK, John F. Kennedy, the current president at that time of the U.S., who was very, very popular. So it didn't just affect the U.S., it affected a lot of people in a lot of countries who were very hopeful around this man and his presidency. Then we go back another 18 years and we get 1945, and we had the bombing of Hiroshima, world's first atomic bomb. Well, needless to say, that made an impression. So here we are currently, and we're dealing with this coronavirus. Some people say that it may dissipate by the end of May or June. Well, we can hope so. Maybe it gets a little bit better after April 22nd, as I mentioned, once Rahu exits Ardra. There have been other predictions about it. Somebody said that, famous psychic said that would come very quickly and disappear very quickly. So, my concern too is fear. Many of you go into fear. Some of you go into panic attacks and tremendous stress. We really need to understand that this world, these bodies, our reality in this world, it's all temporary, my friends. It's all temporary. No one lasts forever here. I don't care about anti-aging, all that. Everybody dies. Everybody here is on death row, believe me. So while we need to take care of ourselves here and our families and friends, etc., and our business, we must remember, most importantly, we're spirits. We are souls. We are spirit souls. And the soul part of us is eternal. The more you focus on yourself being a soul, the more you focus on your connection to God or to your Creator or to Spirit, however you want to phrase it, the more your fear will be reduced. I'd like to read a quote. Take comfort in knowing that our world and our universe are always under the control of a higher divine power. Though it may sometimes appear to the contrary, we are not ultimately subject to the whims of political dictators or military megalomaniacs or folly's fools or even diseases. Even vast armies, military might, and nuclear weapons are no match for the power of God, nature, and universal forces. When you place yourself in the lap of God, in the loving arms of God, those fears and insecurities can be gradually wiped away. So I urge you to focus on your meditation, your yoga practice, your prayer, your chanting of mantra, your pranayama, your breath control, whatever you do. And this too shall pass. I'd like to add something else. In our world, we have natural disasters. We have earthquakes, floods, fires, like they had recently in Australia. We have hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanoes, and epidemics. This is because we are experiencing collective karma. This is karma that we have generated as a group. When we mistreat Mother Earth, do I need to give you examples of that? When we act out of selfishness to the detriment of others, when we don't care about the results of our actions as long as we get what we want, and if it's done on an individual level, that's one thing. What if it's done on a governmental or collective level or a national level? Let's go someplace and create a war, and then we'll decimate the place, and then we'll leave and let those people figure out how to fix their country. No, not good. So this is our collective karma. We're getting the negative reaction for past deeds. Again, it will pass. Some people think this is a bioweapon and it's bioweaponry because it comes from a bioweapons lab. Some people think it's been released intentionally. perhaps to see how it works as a test, and perhaps get as many people ill as they can, so the pharmaceutical industry can step in and save you with a vaccine, and God knows, make a lot of money. Some people think it's because of population control. We need to trim down the numbers of people. Well, they're dropping like flies, apparently, if the figures they're giving us are true, if they're true. And most of them are older people, 70s, 80s, 90s, and I dare say with pre-existing conditions and weakened immune systems. Some people say it's 5G technology that is going to affect us in a negative electromagnetic manner. Well, I certainly don't disagree with that, but it's not that prevalent yet around the globe. Some people say just to test out their ability to create a military state and how quickly they can do it. Pretty quickly, no? And I've seen some really interesting videos, a couple of them anyway, from highly educated doctors with a lot of letters behind their names, very rational, seemingly, people. And they say it's flu season. Spring, fall, it's flu season. This is another version of the flu. There are countless versions, thousands of versions of the flu virus. The coronavirus has been around. This is a hybrid, apparently, of it. And these doctors, they weren't particularly bothered by it. They didn't seem to think it was anything that far out of the ordinary. Excuse me. And we've gone maybe a little too far in shutting the place down. Well, in hindsight, we'll know that. Hard to say right now. Anyway, I hope this has been of value. And I wish you well. I love you. And I hope to see all of you again in future. Thank you.